Hello everyone and welcome to SUNUP. I'm Lyndall Stout. We begin today on the topic of wildfires and the recovery efforts underway, as well as the aftermath of widespread losses of livestock in both Oklahoma and Texas from the fire that's burned more than 1 million acres. For some help with carcass disposal, we turn to our expert on the topic, OSU Extension's Dr. Doug Hamilton.
Basically, the state has 5 methods that you can dispose of your livestock. Landfilling, rendering, incineration, composting, and burial. And burial is really your only option. The first thing I would do would get in contact with your local conservation district, and they can help you find spots to bury the animals on your farm.
So start with the conservation district. What do I need to do when I contact them?
Well, if you already have a management plan, they'll know your farm. Otherwise, they'll come out to your farm and kind of look over the land, look in the soil surveys, and figure out where's a good place to bury an animal.
And there really is some specific guidance there. Go over that.
Yes, you need to be in a high spot. You need to be well above a floodplain. You're going to have to dig a hole 4 to 6 feet deep, and you need to be about 2 feet, at least 2 feet above where the water table may rise. Really, there's going to be 1 or 2 spots on a fairly large ground that you could actually do the burial in.
And it's going to take some heavy equipment more than likely, and some logistics planning too.
Yeah, you're going to have to think ahead because it's not easy to move a 100 to 1,000, 1,500 pound animal. So you're going to need like a box loader or a bucket loader. Also, you're going to have to dig a pretty deep hole, so you're going to need a backhoe.
And I'm sure producers we know that they lose animals from time to time, an adult animal or calves, of course, but when there's mass casualty like this, it really does require some extra planning and coordination and asking for support.
Yeah, when you can still use burial. You can dig a trench as long as you need. Put the cows like tail to nose in that trench, not quite touching each other. But if you have 20 cows dead, that can be a pretty large trench. You might need to be able to dig 2 or 3.
Right. What kind of considerations are there for being near water sources?
Well, it's pretty much, no matter what the water source is, a pond, a stream, a lake, a well, 300 feet is going to be the distance from your closest hole to that water source.
So why is burial the best choice?
Because really, in Oklahoma, I don't know if it's even possible to find a landfill that'll take a dead animal, even in an emergency situation. Rendering, it's particularly if you've had animals that have been dead for a number of days. Rendering places are not going to take that. Incineration, you really need to be set up beforehand with very expensive, specific equipment to do that. Composting is it's kind of like burial, except for you still need the same heavy equipment, but you're going to need a lot of sawdust or wood shavings, and it takes a lot of management. The one advantage of composting is once you're finished composting, you can use that site again. With burial, that site is going to be a burial spot for the end of time.
So that is something you need to consider too when picking out the spot.
Right.
So this is kind of a high-level overview that you've given us today. You do have some fact sheets on the topic that people can check out if they want to read more in depth.
Yeah, there's 2 specific fact sheets, one on proper disposal of animals, which covers all the 5 methods, and then one specifically on composting of animals.
Thanks a lot, Doug. And for a link to the fact sheets that Doug mentioned, just go to sunup.okstate.edu.